Hey YouTube, coming at you with this pretty strong team that I used to get to 2188. Highest ELO season, I started pretty low, 2075. So, turtonator, furret, azumarill. Basically, what did I start with? I started with furret because I went up against furret a couple days ago, and I was like, ooh, furret can be actually quite good in this meta. There's not a lot of steals, which resist your charge moves. There is not a lot of darks, which resist your fast move, and there's not a lot of fairies to resist your fast move, and there is not like no counter. There's like two counter users in this meta, like Poliwrath and Blaziken are the only counter users. So I'm like, this thing's probably got a lot of play. So I'm like, okay, what else do I want to use? And then I'm like, okay, let's cover some of those weaknesses that I just said. Like, there's not a lot of fighters, but there's a couple fighters. There's not a lot of fairies, but there's a couple fairies. So like, what can kind of cover almost everything here? And I'm like, a Azumarill, that's a pretty good one. So I used a Azumarill, and then I'm like, okay, now let's just cover Azumarill's weakness. Furret's a safe swap. Let's cover Azumarill's weakness in electric and grass. What resists electric and grass? Dragons, fires, dragons. And then fire will deal with the grass too. So it's a turtonator. I'm like, this makes sense. So bounce pair. I used overheat on, I know Brutal Swing and I think Dragon Claw are the recommended moveset. I just find like if you're going to use turtonator, have a nuke on it, especially with that incinerate overheat. You can just like combo it. You can use whatever moveset you want. PvP Poke recommends Brutal Swing and Dragon Claw, but I would rather just have an overheat bias from my Ninetale days. Okay, terrible lead. Terrible lead because Dragon Breath would be doing super effective, and Incinerates would be double resisted on the Dragon and water. So come in here with Furret. That seemed too fast for an Outrage, and it was Octazooka. So unfortunate for me. What's even more unfortunate is they do catch a move here on the Typhlosion. Now, luckily Furret didn't get nerfed. It's just the meta evolved enough that it could have a bit of an issue in Open Great League, but getting to a move here put pressure on that shield. So grabbed one shield and took this to the red for Turtonator just to absorb either a resisted non-stab Thunder Punch or a double resisted Blast Burn, resisted on the Dragon and Fire. So resisting that is huge. Out comes the Kingdra. Because I've already grabbed one shield, you grab that second shield or you take this out, right? So throwing this Dragon Claw, it does land. That is huge. What's in the back? Gastrodon. So unfortunate that it is a Gastrodon because that makes Turtonator essentially useless. But I still have a 2v1 shield advantage. If it has Water Pulse, I'm great. If it has Earth Power, you know, landing one of those could be a little tricky. But if I remember this matchup, I think I got hit by like, they threw like 3 or 4 body slams. So my guess is they have Water Pulse. You know, that is sort of one of the problems when you're running Water Pulse. You then are just going to have nothing but Body Slam to throw at some of these Pokemon, which is not just a good move. But these Mud Slaps still add up, right? That's why the recommended moveset is Water Pulse. You get coverage for flyers, while at the same time, these Mud Slaps, although Body Slam is a terrible move, these Mud Slaps are doing enough damage that even with a non-stab Body Slam here, you can put up some damage. But obviously, as you see right there, not a lot of damage. We'll take that out there. So bad lead, but took it out. This is a great lead. So they do 1 and into Credilli. So let me just stop right there for those of you who are newer on timing. The damage registers usually around, it's a little inconsistent, but it usually registers on the 4. So if you're using Incinerate, which is a 5-turn move, it should register on the Pokemon you're playing against on the 4. So what you saw there was actually a pretty heads-up play. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but what happened was they went 1 Bullet Punch and then came into Credilli. So what that means is they got 1 fast move through. They got the energy for that fast move, while at the same time they absorbed that damage on the Credilli. So that damage registered on this and not the double super effective on the Scizor. So getting to the Dragon Claw here on the Credilli here. Coming to Furret, again, I want to keep alignment with Turtonator on the words. Turtonator on the Scizor. They do get to another move. It is enough to put me in the deep red, and now I'm wondering if they're going to fight for Switch. They probably should fight for Switch, especially if they have like a Mudboy in the back. Yeah, this is not surprising that they're fighting for Switch super hard. However, double Swift here, even if they do fight for Switch, which they will get, I now have a 2 shield advantage. I will have to burn 1 on the rock tomb here, but I'll have a ton of energy coming out of this. I doubt that the Scizor comes back in. Maybe it is like a Mud Boy or something in the back. That's probably why they fought hard. But Azumarill coming in here. Until you don't have a charge move. But I really thought with the bubble and Play Rough that I could take this out before they got to the reason I shielded Trailblaze is because I assumed that the bubble damage would do him enough that I took him out before they get to another Trailblaze. Unfortunately, as you can see, with the 1 HP left on this thing, they get to another move. And now that leaves me in a brutal spot. I'm going to need 2 Dragon Claws before they get to a move here. And a 5-turn fast move that's resisted. Not enough. I was going to go for the overheat because I felt like a resisted overheat would still probably do more. But did not get to it before they body slammed me out. So tough kind of loss after what is a good lead there. Good fight for switch for them. Again into Credilli. This one I think I go overheat. Yeah, just truly making up for what happened the other matchup. I went Dragon Claw and didn't do enough. They're not going to shield. More often than not, they're not going to shield. Let me stop again and explain why. Why you almost never shield these moves and why they didn't shield it last time and why they didn't shield it this time either. You lost the lead. You safe swap. A lot of time your opponent just wants to chip you and align, because if they can chip you and then align, it's very likely that they're going to keep switch anyways. If you shield, you do not know what your opponent has. So imagine I have, again, you can't have it in this meta because it's not one of the Pokemon in this meta. But if I had a Shadow Annihilape, that would be super effective with counters that I can boost my attack, and super effective with Ice Punch as a charge move, and resist the poison, and they can only throw a grass move. Like, if you shield, you're wasting a shield because you're going to be losing anyways. So a lot of the times, if those who make the safe swaps are just mostly eating that move. So it's if you want to like chip like this to ensure you keep switch and alignment, you can most likely go for the nuke because they're unlikely to shield anything. It's not all the time, but just that's a general thinking behind it. So they did get a move off, but that is okay. I shield, come furret. So their turtonator comes in, and I will now just start spamming these sucker punches and swifts, right? So just the strength of this, I'm going to throw on 8 versus 10 because I don't think I win CMP here against a dragon. So grabbed 1 shield. And even if they take me out here, I got a Azumarill that can align and just resist every charge move. And they don't even take me out, and now it's a 2 versus 5 move, and I'll still get to another one. So furret, yes, the open, I think I just mentioned this already, the Open Great League meta, a little tougher for it, but not... if you can just avoid some of the Pokemon, you are in a good spot here. Freaking Gastrodon. You know what? I played Gastrodon. I know it plays better. I do like it with Water Pulse. I think it's actually quite a strong Pokemon. But man, if I haven't seen like 15 Gastrodons in this meta already. So I did get some damage just absorbed here on the Turtonator. I know they have Water Pulse because they've already shown it. So now it's just a non-stab Body Slam. I know they still have some of the Credilli left. So I want to make sure that I have some energy. What do they have left? Is it the Credilli left or is it the Turtonator left? Turtonator left. But I still want some health. I don't need it, but some energy. I don't think I need it because I have a shield here. But you know, the Brutal Swing is a bait move, and I'm pretty low, but I do get to the Ice Beam to take it out. Okay, another one here, Credilli. Yes, this thing shows up everywhere. Not surprising, #1 ranked Pokemon, and they get out into Dedenne. So couple things here. I don't like how I played this. I don't think I'm wrong in throwing this overheat. I think I'm wrong in shielding, because Play Rough is only neutral. It's super effective on the dragon, but resisted on the fire. So I burned a shield when I didn't really need to. knew that I would have to reset because I lowered my attack times 2. So get into Furret. Hydro Cannon will hurt, but Shadow Claw is resisted here. And if I can just start chipping here, that'd be great. But they catch on the Credilli. And I even remember when this happened, I'm just like, you just went one and throw like an absolute noob when you constantly call people not to do that, and you're getting caught on like crazy around like the last season and a half here. So I need to smarten up when it comes to that stuff. But at this point, let this go. And I'm going to let this go too. It is Bullet Seed. So Bullet Seed's not going to take me out. That's double resisted on the Fire and Dragon. One Rock Tomb is going to hurt, but it will not take me out. And again, they cannot really Bullet Seed me down. So nice actually keeping that alive. That's quite smart. Getting out of there. I'm going to grab one shield back here because they cannot take a move. And now it is going to be kind of a weird one. So Claws neutral, Hydro Cannons resisted. Hydro Cannons are still going to add up though. There's a bit left on the Credilli. The Credilli is, Bullet Seed and Acid are both super effective. So the fast move is going to be doing super effective on me. And I need to watch out for the Hydros adding up too much that I can potentially put myself in fast move damage range. So I take one here, but I also need to worry that I'm going to get caught on too. Because if I get caught on, then they can potentially get to another Hydro and take me out. So I'm holding it back. And then the Credilli comes in, and now I'm bubbles neutral. I'm hoping that I could live, and I do live, get to a move, take it out. So just kind of being aware of all the scenarios that are going on there. Skeledirge is a good lead because Incinerate is double resisted on the Dragon Fire. Out comes the Kingdra. Huge mistake here. Huge mistake here. I should not need to tell you that you come into your Azumarill that resists Dragon. And they land an Outrage. So just terrible. There's nothing else I could say besides what a dumb play. So I go down, hope they just have I don't even know what you hope they have. Swift, because Swift's neutral, it will chip, and out comes a Crustle. So now I'm like in a weird one where it's like Bubble's doing super effective. I know my Turtonator can deal with the Skeledirge, but I'm still a bit worried about the Dragon, Kingdra. And then I just off on the timing, off on the counting, off on everything. I think I'm being more overly tough on myself just because I didn't hit Legend last season. Like, if I was making these mistakes after hitting Legend last season, I wouldn't care too much. But because I didn't hit Legend last season, I'm just like, come on, man. Smarten up a little bit here. Swift registers, but I have 2 Dragon Claws here. So one will take out, and then they come into their Skeledirge. So going to the second one here, this will grab a shield. And I was hoping that double resisted, I live. But I'm also worried about like them getting to another move. So I tried to catch. You saw me hit the Azumarill. I knew they would go back to back. So I tried to catch, and if I caught, I would have won. But unfortunately, I did not catch. So another one that feels like a throw there. Stunfisk. Tough. So I stay in this because I know I could take one Mud Bomb, and they're running an electric fast move, which is resisted. So I'll take the first move. I know it's going to do 60+%. I'm going straight Overheat because if this lands, great. If it doesn't, I could come for it with shield advantage. It did land, but I did lower my attack, so I'm just going to come for it anyways. So that's okay. Take that Mud Bomb. What do they have? Pharaoh. I think I tried to CMP on this one just to I know I lose CMP, but I just wanted to see. And then what ends up happening is we go CMP here. But because they're so low, I'm basically shielding because they're so low. If they want to, they only have one Pokemon left in the back. Stunfisk is pretty low, so they kind of have to get this move off. And I know that they're going to want to shield back. And if they do, they're going to have to dump energy, or else I'm going to sucker punch them down. right? That's furret strength. Sucker punch and swift combo is really going to add pressure on. So I come in here, incinerate down. What's in the back? I was going to say, I hope it's a Gastrodon. No, it's not a Gastrodon. It is just a Dugong. I am baiting here. I don't even know if it matters too much. I guess it does if it's 3-2-3-2 versus 3-3-3. You get to one of the moves faster. I was baiting there because I've already shown overheat, and they should be scared of the overheat. So knowing that I can kind of bait there, tried to get off the play rough before they got off another move. They did Icy Wind for the first one. It is a drone for the second one, so this is a single single attack lowered play rough. So the bubbles are resisted, but drill runs are not really doing much, and my switch timer is up. And that is super important because they Icy Wind me again to lower my attack times 2. So I'm coming in here immediately, basically saying thank you, but I would like to reset my lowered attack here so that I can get to this play rough. It is enough to take out because my attack isn't lowered. I now got these super effective bubbles coming at what's left here that aren't lowered now to take it out. So just make sure if you are playing against Pokemon that can lower your attack, just make sure you can reset. Okay, terrible lead against... oh, this is tough already. Oh, this is bad. Okay, terrible lead against Feraligatr, resisting Incinerates, Hydro Cannon Soup. Actually, Hydro Cannon would be neutral, but still, just a bad lead. Save Swap Furret, met with a steal. Not a lot of steals, but this is a tough one. I went with Trailblaze first, even though it was double resisted, because I want to... Basically, if you're going to try to flip this matchup, you need the Sucker Punches to do most of the heavy lifting. So even though Trailblaze is double resisted, it's still worth it, in my opinion, to be able to put pressure on them with the fast move. And then they give up switch into Turtonator, which is crazy. So getting to a charge move here, they're running Ember on theirs, which is an option. So you can see those fast Embers coming through. Don't do as much damage, but they charge quicker. But if I remember, the charge odds is not substantially different for the damage you're giving up. But 2 turn is always, as you can see right there, much better than to deal with a 5 turn. And so that 2 turn ends up actually taking me out, but Azumarill comes in to get the bubble off to take that out. And now come in here, make the catch, even though I had a move here, making the catch on Furret, so I don't need to burn that shield here. And I do remember bubbling down. They did not get to him another move. Get to the play rough. No point of baiting. I think they let the first one go here. And that just means that it's double like Ice Beam range now. I think I let the first... It doesn't really... I was going to say it doesn't matter when you let them go, assuming they're going to go double Hydro, because even if they had Crunch, which some do, some Feraligatrs run Crunch as like safe swaps. Actually, this was not a safe swap, but some run Crunch. Crunch would be resisted, so they would unlikely throw that. But the only reason I mentioned Crunch is because it does have a chance to lower your defense. So if they land that and then your defense is lowered and you shielded that, then their other moves are doing more. It didn't matter in the ending here when I shield, but just there are different like options of when you should think about shielding. Okay, 2 more battles. All the problem with this team is it takes a long time for these battles to happen. All very bulky team. Lead here is brutal. Their Incinerator double resisted. My Incinerator double resisted on them. I can get to the Dragon Claw, which does chip to 50%. However, they have a Rock Tomb, which is super effective. Luckily, again, double resisted Incinerates. They are not going to be able to take me down. They did get a full extra Incinerate through there because they're not trying to CMP me, knowing they're going to lose. And now I won't get to my move because their double resisted Incinerate's going that way. So I lost switch. I'm going to have to take a Rock Tomb, which is going to lower my attack. And then so I'm going to have to reset here probably anyways. And it is a Decidueye in the back. And here comes an Amoonguss. So it is Furret that is going to have to sweep this team. The Amoonguss, double grass in the back. So Azumarill kind of useless. Not completely because it has Ice Beam, but it's going to be having a tough time. Amoonguss has Astonish here. So it is not doing much with the fast move damage. I know the Decidueye kind of farmed up a bit. So I'm looking at my switch clock. I'm going to put a lot of pressure on these shields and then make a catch on my Azumarill coming up here. Just instant catch. And I can take it. I don't really care what this is. My win con is try to run Furret in the back end here. So I do get to a Ice Beam. This is enough to take it out. And, oh, they do shield though. I remember some shielding because they have a ton of energy. So I have no charge moves. They're half Ghost. Ghost resists Swift. And my Sucker Punches are super effective, but Trailblaze is also resisted. But Trailblaze, I think in this situation is better because not only does it boost my attack, but I think it's only single resisted versus double resisted. So that takes out, my attack is boosted, and I do Sucker Punch down. So double Grass Backline goes down. Last matchup here. Terrible lead again. We're going to have to safe swap into... We need to safe swap into Furret, not after an Incinerate. That's the worst case scenario. So shielding up potential Earthquake, Outrage, and it's an Octazooka, and my attack gets lower ×2, and then I get hit with a Fortress. Okay. Yeah, so I should just stop the battle now. This is a top left. Just a comedy of, not comedy of errors, but just like hitting that, thinking I hit the Furret, but ended up getting an extra Incinerate through, so they get a bunch of energy. Because I got a bunch of energy, worried that it was an Outrage, so shield, just to shield up an Octazooka that does lower my attack, to then get hit with a Steel Pokemon that resists the move. They do come back into Kingdra to give me a little bit of hope here, allowing me to come in and resist the moves. Octazooka lands and again lowers my attack ×2. So get to the play rough. This is super effective, but now my attack is 2 times lowered, so I don't even know if it takes out. And they shield. My guess is they are just farming and going to bank this move and get into something else. I'd be surprised if it's... I'd be surprised... Well, you know what? I guess I shouldn't be surprised because it has Rock Tomb. And Rock Tomb's super effective and lowers my attack. So do get the farm down. I'm going to basically throw Dragon Claw blind. It almost doesn't matter. Yeah. The Kingdra does come in. So taking this Dragon Claw, they let it go. They're going to run with whatever's in the back. What is in the back is Credilli going for the Overheat, but Credilli with a shield advantage. And then it's now going to get energy. It's just going to take what's left of my Azumarill out. I'm trying to get out, but I'm just kind of locked. I do have an Ice Beam, but because they farmed up so much, and it's Bullet Seed too, so they're charging up faster. Yeah, add a move, and now I'm going to go down here with a full farm down just to add insult to injury there. So yeah, tough one there. But overall, did well with the team. Up in ELO, I will do, even though the team does not make sense, I'm doing a triple Beyond the Hype tomorrow with the new Confusion users. Not new Confusion users, but like Cresselia with Confusion and Mewtwo with Confusion, which makes you very, very, very vulnerable to Dark and Bug. And it's not like I have an answer to Dark and Bug on the lead because I'm doing Regidrago with the Hyper Beam on the lead. So don't know if the team's going to work. I am 1-0 with it so far, but could be 1-9 by the end of the day. So we'll see how it works. But want to test some of these other Pokemon for the Ultra League to give some people some Ultra League content. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.